It's been tense. It's been heartbreaking. And for many sensitive souls, it's been profoundly soul wrenching. And you might be feeling waves of grief right now, flashes of anger, or moments of deep fatigue from simply witnessing what's unfolding around the world. And as empaths, we feel it all. But what is so important to know right now is that it's not the time to shut down or unplug. It's not the time to look away. It's the time to truly see, to see with your heart, your eyes, and your mind. And it's not the time to be swayed by fear. It's not the time to be pulled into division. And it's not the time to lose ourselves in the noise. Now is the time to choose peace, to choose love. So how do we do that? How do we stay open, loving, and conscious in times like this? How do we do that without burning out, without becoming overwhelmed? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for being here. We're moving towards a powerful full moon in Leo. We have Neptune moving into Aries for the first time in over a century. It hasn't been there for us here in the States. The last time it was there, we were in civil war. Astrology, we look to the past to see echoes, to plan for the future. And right now, the collective energy is shifting. It's shifting from endurance into courageous creation. And the interesting thing about using astrology to look at the past, to look at history, and to plan for the future is that it's not going to be exactly the same. There's so many other things that are going on. And we have certain gifts and insights and tools accessible to us, especially as empaths, to help navigate and to help shift the energy in this world. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Hannah. Say hello as you hop on. It is a true joy to be able to come together in collective energy like this, because when we come together and we do these sacred practices, we shift. We shift the energy of the world and the tides. So I'm going to invite you to place your hand on your heart. And before we go any farther, just to tune in, to bring your awareness into the heart space. And we're going to pull a card to just ask, what's the most important thing that you need to know moving into this week ahead? And I see who pops up. Four of Wands. And she's reversed. So the Four of Wands is about stability. And there is a lot of instability and unrest where things are getting all topsy-turvy and turned upside down. So in order to engage with this energy in a way that is loving, that is connected, I'm going to encourage you to ground. So Four of Wands, you can see in the background here, is four pillars of fire. Fire, which we have that Aries influence this week. There's some big things happening. We'll talk about it in a moment. But the fire, the Aries, think of it as courage and passion, the convictions of what is in your heart, to stay in integrity and truth and love and peace, and to make those your four pillars: integrity, truth, love, and peace. I love it. Anchor yourself in what is true. Anchor yourself in love, in integrity, and peace. And we're going to even talk about the four gates of speech in a little bit as well. But things like this to remind you of who you are. Because when there's a lot of collective noise, when there's fear, when there's division, it's easy to lose ourselves. And as empaths who so easily absorb everything that's going on around us, it's important to be able to stay grounded, to be present, and to ascertain or discern what is our energy versus what belongs to someone else. So we're going to keep that Four of Wands in mind as we go forward. I want to just take a moment to kind of tune into living in this world as a big feeler, as a sensitive person, or as an empath, because the world can often appear like it rewards disconnection over compassion. But what I want to really share is that we don't have to become harder or tough in the sense of strong exterior walls to survive here or to even thrive. There's a more subtler, refined, beautiful way to stay grounded and strong and present and loving in this world so we can be in it but not of it. And that's all around creating energetic boundaries and being able to really understand our intuitive gifts. And that's why I've created programs like the Energy Alchemist, and I'm here every week with all of you to share these tips. And intuitive guidance, remember, there are 3 checkpoints you can run it by to know it's intuition. Because what's intuition? That's just our ability to have conversations with God, our ability to stay connected with the angels, with spirit guides, with all sorts of supportive, loving beings, I'll put it that way, that might not be in physical form, who are looking to work with you to have these sacred connections. And the 3 things are, it's going to be a quiet voice. This is not going to be, and intuitive messages are not shouting loud, but it's quiet indoor voice. The second thing is that it's love-based. No matter what's going on, the guidance is going to come through in love, not fear. If it's fear, step back and reassess. Is this really intuitive guidance, or am I just tuning into the collective field and feeling the fear of everyone else? Quiet voice, loving voice, and finally, it's consistent. The message doesn't change. It stays the same theme. Something to take into consideration this week is that on Monday, today, Neptune moves into Aries. And this hasn't happened, mentioned briefly before, since the time of the Civil War here in the States. And anyway, we'll get to that in a moment. But what I want to say is that this is a shift for us collectively, because Neptune rules dreams, it rules intuition, spirituality, and compassion. So that's why it's important to know those 3 things. Is this intuition? Aries, that energy that Neptune is moving into, is all about courage, taking action, and identity. Who am I? Who am I? Don't lose yourself in the mix of this craziness. This is a new era of spiritual courage, not spiritual bypassing, not shrinking, not waiting for permission. It's about embodied intuition, living truth, acting from soul instead of fear, acting from your heart. This is a moment where we can really celebrate the sensitivities, where we can move from empathy, where we're absorbing everybody's feelings, into compassion and into love, and realizing that the intuitive hits we're getting are asking us to take action. And before we kind of break down the week day by day and what's happening with the moon, I want to take a moment to just honor what's happening in our collective field right now and all around the world. It's a time where many of us are carrying grief, shock, anger, and really deep exhaustion. And the recent deaths that we've experienced here in the States of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, or the heartbreaking witness of war breaking out around the world, unrest, and so many conflicts and injustices across our world, this is not the time to bury our head in the sand. It's not the time to unplug. We as sensitive souls, we feel things deeply, and not just as headlines. We feel it, we take it into our heart, into our nervous system, and into a space where compassion and pain meet. And the world does feel heavy. And when that happens, it can be so tempting to want to disconnect, to want to look away, to numb, and to retreat. And if you are empathic, you might be feeling this in your body, in your heart, your nervous system. Some of us, we disconnect because it's just too painful to stay present. We feel overwhelmed, we feel rage, we feel helpless. It's all understandable. But there are ways to be present. Grounding. When you do a grounding practice, when you run earth energy, you can stay present and be a witness without absorbing it as if it were your own. And the root flush fill that I love to share on here is a fantastic way. It's my signature system that I share with all of my clients and students, that I share here with you, to be in the world but not of it. And to do that, you just take a deep breath and you imagine a beautiful column of light that runs from the center of the heavens all the way down through the very center of your body. And as it moves through the center of your body, this column light, it moves down between the legs, down through the layers of earth beneath you, and it connects you to the center of the earth. And so you're connected to the heavens above and to the earth beneath. And you imagine this beautiful field of energy, the energetic field that is generated from your heart all around you, creating this toroidal field, it's called, this beautiful shape that is you. You are bigger than just this physical body. Your energy field can go out 8 to 12 feet all around you. And we pick stuff up. So imagine that ball all around you, 8 to 12 feet of your energy, and flush to the earth anything that isn't serving your highest. Release it so it can be recycled into something of great beauty. And then fill, like you're standing in the sunlight with this beautiful golden ray of sunshine. Fill with that light, and you bring that golden light in to fill all the spaces you've cleared, all the spaces that you've kind of created if your ball felt a little bit squishy in some sides. So you root, you flush, you fill. You can access this with a little bit more finesse and guidance at irenamiller.co/get calm. But here's the thing that I want to say. That's a very beautiful, gentle, quick little practice. You can bring it in a more nuanced, deeper way. There's so many things that we can do with that. But when you see that golden light around you, it places you into energetic neutrality, and it's like diffusing a bomb. It calms the people around you. Think golden light, golden light, golden light. You're grounded. You've got everybody else's junk out of your space, or your own fear and worries out of your space and down to the earth. And you fill with golden light, neutrality, 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 so that we can observe. We're strong and we're not absorbing it. It's one of the best things, one of the best techniques as an empath to have. We're in the time of this Aquarius energy. There's a lot of energy planets in Aquarius. And Aquarius, they're great at being able to disconnect and to go into observer role, but make sure that it's not a place where we go numb, where we detach, where we say, oh, well, it's not affecting me personally right now, because sooner or later, it's already affecting all of us. We're connected, right? So whether we choose to see it or not, I've got a great story back from my yoga days when we all sang Om at this big workshop. There was like 250 of us in a gym. And the teacher who was there had a wonderful musician with him. And he said, hey, Katie, what's the sound of that lawnmower outside? It was a springtime. What key or what note is that lawnmower? And Katie said, oh, it's this. And so he started playing it on the harmonium, and we all sang Om on that key. And we sang it 3 times. And then finally, when we all stopped singing, it was like it echoed on. It continued, but it was the lawnmower. It was the coolest thing because we connected with a lawnmower, even inanimate objects. We're all connected, like the beautiful Sufi poets in Rumi saying, we are the drop in the ocean, but we are also the ocean. The Aquarius energy also, though, as much as it's able to disconnect and go into observer role, it also, at its highest, remembers humanity, community, collective responsibility, and coming together to support one another. And with Neptune entering Aries today, Mars is meeting up with Pluto and having a conversation in Aquarius. We're going to talk about that. We're being asked something profound. How do we respond to intensity without becoming it? And I want to just invite you to take a deep breath. I want to give you some tips on how you can use spiritual practices for this moment in time. Movement is a great way, in addition to the grounding, If you can move your body and put on a great piece of music or go outside for a walk, it is fabulous. And there is, I was going to do one practice, but I'm being guided to share a different one. And I'm going to share this one instead. But a quick way to clear your chakras or balance your chakras. And I always kind of giggle because, in collective culture and mainstream, that's kind of become tongue in cheek and a bit cliche. But we want to make sure our energy centers, the 7 main in-body ones. If you don't know about energy centers or chakras, drop that in the comments and we'll talk about that more in detail later. But we've got these energy centers in our body that correspond to different ways that we process energy. So the root chakra at the base of the tailbone helps us process the energy on levels of safety. Am I okay? Am I running away from something, fight or flight? The lower belly, emotions, and so on and so forth. So one quick way to do this is to sing Do a Deer. You can put on the beautiful recording of Julie Andrews and sing Do a deer, a female deer, ray, a drop of golden sun, me, a name I call myself, and go on and on and on. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And the musical alphabet corresponds to the 7 energy centers. So place a song on, something in the solfeggio, or you can even play with hertz. And I'm not going to go down that road. In Energy Alchemist, we get really detailed with all of these things. But for now, Do a Deer. That's a great way to balance your energy centers because we can have different stories lodge within these energy centers. Books like The Body Keeps Score kind of, start to address some of these things. Anyway, longer topic for longer time. I just want to give you a practice that you can utilize right away, like the root flesh fill, to help you in the moment. Prayer, when I say prayer, I also think of it as a meditation. You can use affirmations or mantras. And I love the mantras because they're said in the Sanskrit language and it shifts the energy in the body, just like doing yoga poses. And one of the things that I love to utilize is Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, which just can reflect into peace, peace, peace. Peace in the body, peace in the mind, peace in your spirit. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And people like Deva Premal, if you're not familiar with her, an amazing musician who leads kirtans and practices where you're singing the names of God. Fabulous. Look her up, and she has a song around this as well, I'm sure. Om Shanti, Shanti. And then there are practices like a loving kindness meditation. Why are we doing these things? Well, we're cultivating the garden of our heart so that when we engage with anger and strife and frustration, rather than meet that energy, we neutralize it. We're breathing. We go into our heart. So for the Metta, the loving kindness meditation, you can place your hand on your heart. And this comes from beautiful traditions. I learned a lot of these from Sharon Salzberg back in my early yoga days. You can say, may I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be free. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free. And you can repeat it over and over. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be free. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free. And you just breathe. And one final practice I want to leave you. I'm leaving a lot with you today because this is an intense week and some practices will work at some points and some, we may want to shelve for another time. But when Mars meets Pluto on Tuesday, and we're feeling the energy of it already, the universe doesn't turn on a dime, as one of my teachers says, but Mars in its highest expression is a form of ambition, courage, action, passion. But in a lower vibrational expression, it can be anger, it can be frustration, it can be fighting. Pluto in its highest expression is transformation. It is alchemy. It is rising from the ashes. But in its lower expression, Pluto can be destruction. It can be the end. It's burning things down. It's one thing ending so another can begin. What I want to invite you to do with that energy, and I just want to say hi. This is live, yeah. So I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Justin, great to have you. And Jazz, hello. So yeah, definitely comment. This is a time for us to engage as a community. I'm here to answer questions as well. But with the Mars-Pluto energy, it can sometimes be, I don't even know if I want to use the word explosive, but it can be combustible. So what I want to invite you to do with that energy is, instead of just going into reaction mode, pause, breathe. Do that root flesh fill, the grounding practice, because that'll enable you to respond and to consciously choose rather than react. Because when we're in fear and things, we start to hear things shouted or we hear the words, we just react. And then we look back often and we worry, we second guess, why did I do that? So breathe. That Leo courage with the Leo full moon. Leo is the lion. Remember, your voice matters. Your heart matters. Your presence matters. So this week, choose love and choose to take the actions, the pathways of peace. And if you're here in the States, contact your representatives. Speak your truth. Let them know what's been on your heart. And breathe. So remember, you don't have to carry the world alone. You don't have to fix everything. But I encourage you, choose love over fear again and again. So let's break down this week, moon day by day, or break down the moon day by day, and how to take care of your energy. And by the way, if we haven't met, my name is Irina Miller. I'm a spiritual life guide and astrologer, and I love helping empaths and intuitive souls learn how to navigate the energy of this world and how to really step into the life they were born to live, trusting themselves and their guidance. So thank you for being here. All right, wonderful. So with this energy, know that the overarching energy of the week, and I look to the moon, as empaths, moons are fabulous to tune into, because when I say moons, what I mean is, where is the moon that day? What is it doing? What zodiac sign is it in? My doggie's coming to help us, little Boston Terrier. She said, more energy help. She's always with me for these, so I love that she came in. But the moon helps us tune into our emotions, our feelings, and as it changes through the zodiac wheel every 2.5 days, we can experience energy levels differently, process stress differently. So by looking at what the moon's doing, whether it's going to a full moon or new moon, we can really learn how to work with the rhythm of the cosmos and nature rather than against it. So we are working towards the full moon on Sunday, full moon in Leo. It's a building energy. It builds momentum, courage, and it wants us to help us bring things into physical form. So think of this as a way of kind of building the inner fire within you, getting that courage going. The Leo energy reminds you of your heart, of creativity, joy, self-expression. And the full moon is just trying to say, where if you might have tried to shrink or dim yourself, now is the time to be visible and to be seen. Looking at the big energy of this week before we look at the moons, where it is day by day. I don't know why I want to keep calling them moons. I'm thinking about all its different personalities. Moon has many different personalities when it switches zodiac signs. But Monday today, Neptune going into Aries, you might feel a bit of an energetic reset. The spirit universe is asking us to move from passive dreaming into brave becoming. We're not supposed to be sitting on the sidelines anymore and just watching. Some kind of action. Trust your intuitive guidance. Speak a truth, even if it's for yourself to say it out loud, or be in a grounded place and become informed. Take one soul-aligned action today. On Tuesday, Mars meets up with Pluto in Aquarius. So there's this deep conversation. You might find that it's very heavy, intense. People might be a little bit more frustrated or angry. You might feel the agitation. Maybe there'll be breakthroughs or even some kind of emotional pressure. But what I want to invite you to do with that Tuesday energy, before you respond out of anger or frustration or irritation, run whatever you want to say through the 4 gates of speech. So here's another spiritual practice. I'm giving you a ton today, so make sure you're taking notes. 4 gates of speech. This comes out in many different ways in many different traditions. This is the one that I learned, but you can ask yourself before you say something, is it true? Am I speaking from honesty and integrity? Is it necessary? Does this need to be said? Or is silence a more loving option right now? Then you can ask yourself, is this the right time? Because it might not be the best time to share the message. And then finally, you ask yourself, can I say it with kindness? Can I speak with compassion, even if the message is hard? So you say, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it the right time? And can I say it with kindness? And if it, whatever you need to say doesn't pass through one of those gates, then you pause. If you can pass through all of the gates, then share. It's an amazing practice. Beautiful things like this that we have from those who have walked the path before us. But Tuesday, just breathe, ground, pause, and do the practices that resonate with your heart in case that you run into that irritation and agitation. Yeah. So Thursday, another thing to take note of as we're looking at the big energy of the week, Mercury, the planet of communication, is having a conversation with Venus, the planet of relationships, of love, of value. And what I want to invite you to think of with Thursday is that it's a beautiful day for heart-centered conversations, writing, reconnecting. The moon does go void, of course, in the afternoon. We'll talk about that in a moment when we go day by day with the moon. But what I want to say is maybe Thursday is the day that you reach out, that you write the letter, that you call your representative, and that you make your voice known, or maybe write the opinion piece. It's a day where communication could come through with a little bit more kindness. Friday, the moon is having a conversation with Jupiter. And Jupiter is a planet of expansion and of growth, and the moon is our emotions and our feelings. So it could be a very big emotional day. Nurture yourself, nurture your heart. And there's a practice called do your moon. So wherever your moon was when you were born, you want to do practices that support that zodiac archetype. So for me, my moon was in Cancer, and I do practices that support the energy of the Cancer sign. Maybe it has to do with water. Maybe it has to do with being with family or at home, feeling safe, cuddling with my fur babies and watching a good feel-good movie. But you learn how to do that. And if you're interested in how to do your moon specifically, drop a little moon in the comments. I have a free guide that I love to share, and it just helps you learn how to work with your moon to manage stress levels. Okay, let's talk about the week day by day, and I'm going to pull a card for each day as well. So Monday, the moon is in Taurus, and with the moon in Taurus, it is about grounding. So that grounding practice, the root flesh fill, going outside, placing your hand on a tree, all of those things help you to really come back into the physical moment. Taurus energy invites you to nourish your body, slow down, cook something that's very comforting, touch the earth, touch a tree. These are all wonderful practices for Monday, especially as the energy is ramping up. So I'm going to pull a card and just ask, how can you make the most of Monday's energy? Okay. So as we're tuning in, the wheel, interesting, getting a lot of reverse cards. So the wheel is a card of fate. It says something is out of our hands that we can't control. And the wheel is a moment of cycles. Yes, it's moments of good fortune where we're up, and then it's also moments where we're down. She can be considered Lady Luck. But here's what I want to say. With her being upside down or reversed, similar energy is being upright, but it's important to realize that there are things that are outside of our control and that we cannot change them. But what we can do is change how we interact and respond to them. How we can really line ourselves to be up, to be in the right place at the right time. So what do they say, that quote about luck? Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. So do your spiritual practices this week and really step into that energy of being prepared and of being present. Okay, Tuesday. Tuesday, the moon is in Taurus still. The moon also is out of bounds, which means that she's going to act a little bit erratically, unexpectedly. Emotions might be a little bit bigger. The moon is void of course on Tuesday as well, from 12:57 p.m. Eastern until 3:55 p.m. Eastern. So it's about almost. So from like 1 to 4, about 3 hours out of or void of course. And when the moon is void of course, it's a reflection time. So here's the thing about Tuesday. The moon meets Pluto, or sorry, can't clearly. Mars meets Pluto later on around 6 p.m. Eastern. Use that time midday from basically 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern for reflection, for journaling. I would encourage you, if you can do a meditative practice, whether it's walking, whether it's the dancing with the music, get yourself in a good space energetically so that when the Mars meets Pluto, it can be a moment of transformation of the highest and most positive of aspects. Okay. All right. How to make the most of the energy, tuning in. And we're going to pull a card. What do you need to know for Tuesday? 10 of Pentacles. So 10 of Pentacles is one of stability. It's one of joy. It's one of prosperity. I'm going to invite you to hold a vision in your heart of what does it look like to be grounded, to be surrounded in love, to be at ease, to be with those in your community. What does that look like to be gathered in love? Very, very interesting. All right. Wednesday, it's a Gemini moon, and the moon is still out of bounds. So when the moon is in Gemini, we might get into the headspace a little bit more. We can tend towards the mind running and just going thought after thought, which can sometimes lend itself towards anxiety or worry. But I also want to invite you to know that it could be shifted into clarity, a mental clarity. So how to do that? Take a moment to journal, write everything out, do like a brain dump, or have a conversation with a good friend so you don't stay stuck in your head, and how to make the most of that Tuesday energy. Let's see who pops out. And the beautiful Nine of Swords. So the Nine of Swords is saying that sometimes all of these thoughts feel so scary and worrisome. She's worried. She's waking up at 3 in the morning and everything seems overwhelming. But in the light of day, everything changes. What looks scary and overwhelming in the evening isn't so bad in the morning, in the light of day. What I want to invite you to do is take a piece of paper and make 2 columns. And on the one side, you can kind of title it with, things that I can take care of right now or need immediate attention. And then everything else that you're worrying about, things to be solved in the future, that don't have to be addressed right now. Maybe they're addressed later tonight or tomorrow. But just make that column and the 2 columns and fill them out. And what that's going to do is calm the nervous system and remind you not everything has to be fixed or solved in this moment. Because when we can get out of that fight or flight response and we're taking these deep belly breaths, the solutions will come. Another beautiful practice that I love, 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 love is the affirmation from Louise Hay, all is well. How does it go? All is well. All is well. Oh, holy cannoli. All is well. Everything is working out for my highest. Oh, holy cannoli. It went right in my brain and out my brain. I say it all the time, but it'll come back to me. I've shared it before. If you remember it, pop it in the comments. Whatever comes of this situation will be good. I am safe. All is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. Whatever comes of this situation will be good. I am safe. Goes along the line, something like that. Thursday moon is still in Gemini and still out of bounds. So again, emotions, intuitive hits, we might feel a little more sensitive. Do the grounding practices. Make sure that you're choosing to communicate and share your messages in a very conscious way. Choose your words with care, and even the way that you're talking to yourself and you're thinking about yourself. So we're going to pull a card and we're going to ask, what's the most important thing you need to know about Thursday's energy? Seven of Pentacles. I think of that song by George Harrison. It's going to take time, a whole lot of time, a whole lot of love, a whole lot of money. We're caring, but he's nurturing. The beautiful energy in this card is nurturing and tending to their plants. What's already been planted, it's continuing to send love to, encouraging to grow. So Thursday isn't about doing something totally brand new and off the charts. It's tending to what you already have. It's nurturing it. It's taking care of it. And know that when you do things with love, you can really feel the difference. Like when you make food with love, there's a wonderful movie like Water for Chocolate, book as well, and it really shows how emotions can show up even in food. Okay, Friday. Friday, the moon moves into Cancer, still out of bounds, and it gets into deep conversation with the planet of expansion and growth, good old Jupiter. So Friday might be extra emotional. Friday might be a day where you're like, I'm not going out. I'm staying at home. I'm going to watch a movie. I'm going to be around my family. I'm going to just let myself feel all the emotions. Sometimes, we need a good cry. It's a great John Denver song that I love. It's like sometimes we need a sad song. Sometimes we just need to release that emotion. Allow yourself to receive support. Allow the emotion to come up and out. How to make the most of Friday's energy. Okay, the Fool. There's a beauty in trusting. She has an open heart and she's willing to take a leap of faith. And she's not leaping just into the unknown, but she knows there's a plan. There's a plan for her. This beautiful sacred geometric shape of the flower of life, she's taking a leap into that seed. That is God's plan. God's plan for you. What are you becoming more aware of? What are you understanding and saying, okay, there was a beautiful song. My great aunt, who was a nun, loved this song. And they sung it in the Catholic churches often. And my mom sang it at her funeral. But it goes along the lines of like, is it me, Lord? Are you calling? It's answering that call, that soul calling in your heart. All right, Saturday, moon is still in Cancer. Rest and nest. Tend to your inner child and prepare your heart for that full moon. So Cancer moon, tend to your feelings. Okay, how can you make the most of that Cancer moon energy? The Star. Beautiful. So there are more things than on heaven and earth that we can dream of. I'm messing up that beautiful Shakespearean quote by Horatio, but limitless possibilities. The Star is intuition. The Star is hope. The Star is a card that says, how good can you stand it? Dream big. Reach up for that star and bring it down to the earth. Make it into physical reality, your dreams, your wishes. So on Saturday, I would encourage you, do practices that connect you to the sacred. Maybe it's a long walk, maybe it's a meditation, reflection, journaling, singing the names of God, in whatever tradition aligns with your heart. And then Sunday, full moon in Leo. This is heart-led courage. Leo is love. It is a moment to be in your heart and to celebrate what you're bringing to the table, to express yourself creatively, and to honor how far you've come. So how to make the most of the Leo full moon. Oh, 2 cards came out. All right. So we have the 2 of Cups. So the 2 of Cups is about partnerships. It's about finding the connections and bringing the energies together. It really is love. It's love across the world. It's holding hands. What was that song? Oh my gosh. Coke adapted it, but it's how did it go? It's like, I'd like to buy the world a Coke. And sing in perfect harmony with turtle doves and da da da. Do you remember that song? Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I'm going to find that song. That's a good song. I'm going to send it out with my email that goes with this. So if you're not on my email list, go to irenamiller.co/get calm, jump on my email list. But, music is powerful. Come together and hold hands. And then the second thing that popped up is Two of Wands. A choice has been made. What are you resisting and seeing? This is a Three of Wands. She's already made her decision and choice. The boats are coming in with the goods, the riches, she's in the traditional card. This is a merchant who their ships are coming back to shore, holding the treasures and the spices. The ship is coming in, but sometimes we just can't see it. So how might you need to shift your vision or your understanding or your awareness to see the blessings coming into your life? That Leo full moon is great. Neuroscientists have done incredible studies around negative thinking and how that impacts us so deeply. So that Sunday full moon in Leo, use your creative energy that day to shift your thinking, to flip the script. And if you are looking and you're only seeing the horrors and the hurting, shift it. Shift it into seeing the beauty, into seeing the courage of others as they're speaking out, as they're making the voices heard, as they're showing us, being way showers and bringing light and hope. Okay, and for my Moon Club members, we'll have our beautiful Moon Club ritual on Wednesday. If you want to know more about Moon Club, where we go deeper into connecting with the moon, check out irenamiller.co/club, and you can see all of the goodies that we engage with in there. But it just really teaches you how to get into harmony and rhythm with the moon. So as we wrap up and close, I want to invite you to kind of ask yourself, where are you being invited to lead with your heart? Where are you being invited to be an inspiration and a light to others? To choose love over fear. And just breathe. And a little blessing as we go on our way. I just want to offer this to you. May you remember that your sensitivity, your love, and your heart is not a weakness. It is a sacred gift. And may you stay open-hearted without losing your strength. May you be courageous without hardening your heart. May you trust your inner knowing even when the world feels loud. May you protect your energy, speak your truth, and follow what feels loving and true. And may this beautiful Leo full moon remind you that your light matters, your voice matters, and your presence makes the difference. May peace begin with you and ripple outward into the world. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for choosing love. It's a joy to come together with you each week. Remember, trust your vibes, follow your heart. I'll see you here next Monday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Thank you for being here. Kevin, thanks for being here. Oh my goodness, Cam, thank you so much for all of the support and the love. I appreciate it. Hannah, it was great to have you. Jazz, great to have you. I'm glad you hug the trees all the time when you're outside. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I love, love, love the trees, and you're so welcome for the exercise, Jazz. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just seeing, intuition never lies. It comes in love. Okay, thank you. I'll catch you all here next week. Bye, guys. Have a great day.